A sex scandal is rocking Thailand's Buddhist community. It all started when a prestigious monk apparently disappeared. Now Thai authorities are accusing a woman of orchestrating an elaborate blackmail scheme, seducing then extorting several monks for more than $10 million. Brad Mielke, host of the Start Here podcast, is here with more on that. Brad, I couldn't believe this stat. Police say they found 80,000 compromising photos of these monks. Is that a typo?
No, that's right.
80,000.
Tens of thousands is what they said. 80,000, and these were photos and videos is what police say. And this has really rocked Thailand because you have to understand just how fundamental monks and monasteries are to this country. 90% of Thai people are Buddhist. In fact, most men at some point in their life do probably a temporary stay in a monastery where they get ordained. So this is not just like a small enclave of people. When we're talking about this religion and these monasteries, that really affects the entire country, and that's what turned this into such a national scandal.
So how did it happen?
Well, so the police say that when this monk went missing, they went to find out more, and they found themselves at the home of this woman. Her name is Willowan Msawat. And they found not only compromising photos of this monk, but then they started seeing more and more. And what they found, they say, by digging around in her finances and in her records, was that she had been routinely going out with men, romancing them, and then extorting them, blackmailing them for money. When we're talking about 10 million US dollars, they started looking through her finances, and they found money coming directly, in some cases, from Thai monasteries. And so now it's not just the men. Like, what money do these men have to throw around?
Well, that's
right?
what I was going to ask, because monks don't usually get a salary. So where is this money coming from that they're giving to her?
This is the thing. So, these monasteries are in some cases flush with cash. They are national institutions, so they get private donations, but they also get government money at some points to, repair them and to do the upkeep and to make sure that these monks get allowances that they can live on. But we're talking about a ton of money. Now you're talking about people's taxpayer money, which is what get people extra upset. So when this, often we talk about these stories as, the victims or the people who are getting blackmailed. In this case, a lot of civilians have no sort of sympathy for these monks who have, of course, taken vows of celibacy.
But you say the consequences here could go beyond just these monks or just this monastery.
Well, yeah, so this is the issue, is when you talk about a country where the religion is so closely tied with the national populace here. For years, there have been these conversations in Thailand about how much money is flowing around these monks and these monasteries, and it's created a lot of resentment. So a few years ago, there was this guy known as the jet-setting monk who was waving around wads of cash on private jets. He was then arrested and sentenced to 100 years in prison for money laundering. An entire monastery, they had defrocked these monks for what they say was running a drug ring out of this monastery. And then you start looking at the amount of pressure there is on regular people throughout the country to donate to their local monastery, or in some cases, even to specific monks. There are monks that have patrons because if you donate to me, you'll get extra good karma. And so then when things like this happen, it really creates this larger conversation in the country about, like, what are we doing here when you see several of these men being implicated in this scandal?
Interesting. So what are you watching for as this investigation moves forward?
Well, because it's a national religion, that means it's got governmental implications, right? This is like when there's an issue among priests, and then obviously the Pope is going to be having to answer for that. This is also the head of the state. So the King of Thailand now, actually in the last week, said, I just promoted dozens and dozens of monks. It's what I do all the time. We're going to actually rescind those promotions because there's so much mistrust in the community right now. So he even sees kind of the political implications of this. You see the police working overtime on this, the police taking shots at some of these monasteries in their press conferences. So this is really becoming like a governmental crisis in Thailand as well.
Oh boy. All right, Brad Mielke, thanks for digging into that for us. And you can hear Brad dive into more stories like these on the Start Here podcast. New episodes drop weekday mornings at 6 Eastern, wherever you get your podcasts.